Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2. I'm excited to introduce to you the Terran player in the red in the bottom right. It's Team Liquid's Clem, the only player this year of Terran who has been able to take on this one in the top left. It is the finisher, the rank 1 player in the world. It's Serral. Serral has only lost one series this year to Terran. And it has been to Clem in the European ESL Championship. Will history repeat itself, or will Serral maintain his domination over essentially the entire world, minus the Zergs? Find out more right here, right now. A best of 5 Zerg versus Terran in the Grandmasters Coliseum. Put on by World Team League, as so many incredible tournaments are. Hopefully you do enjoy the commentary of incredible tournaments. And if you do, it'd be awesome if you could like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we at? What? 1,129 likes. And I'll cast another series. And with games like this, I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And I'm almost certain it's about to get a little bit better. I'm not sure what it is about Clem that gives him even like a foot in the door against Serral. He has a tendency to play these kind of but just he cuts a little deeper with those early aggressions, and he's willing to play that high risk, high reward gameplay, kind of like Beyond. For a while we kind of joked, not so joked, but for a while essentially he replaced Beyond as the micro Terran, the big risk taker, the doom dropper. Beyond has since reclaimed that spot, but Clem has tempered somewhat into less of an all-out aggression player and a bit more well-rounded. He can follow up that aggression with another round and another one after that. Also, it is arguable he has the best micro in the world, even over Maru, even over Beyond. It is just, he has a tendency to kind of die on the sword, despite what I just said. Now, Serral, on the other hand, well, it's Serral. Alright, he is the standard. Whatever Serral does is now standard. Okay? That's just, it makes writing the rule book and the guidebook very easy. You just simply watch Serral play. It's like, alright, there you go. Simply never miss an inject. Never forget to spread creep into your main and outside your natural. Don't waste too much energy on your queens. Have them in the right position at all times. Perfect overlord spread for perfect vision. Just play perfect. And you too can become the greatest of all time, which is not really how that works. But we've got a Roach speed rush out of Serral. Now this is different, to say the least. Overseer gets in. Gonna spot, well, one, the fact that there's an Overseer this early. It's not like Clem didn't see the lair. He's doing a creep highway here. Going to try to speed the roaches across. Well, here's the thing, is Clem has done a bio build. And this, well, roaches are not well suited to dealing with a bunch of medevac marines early on, even if you have a lot of them. Clem not even building marauders now, as at this point he has to be pretty certain that is indeed. He's just gonna cut forward. Stims does not fall back when he sees Serral's aggression. Instead, he tries to get there first, knocks down a queen, gets an overlord for funsies, takes out a few roaches. But road speed is about to complete moments after the Marines are able to sprint off of the creep here. 2 engineering bays behind, 3rd command center. Serral only have 49 drones, but adding more. Double Evo chamber, +1 infantry weapons already on the way for Clem. The roaches gonna stay at the door here. A bit of an awkward angle for both sides. Serral going to be using that pseudo choke point that the depots provide. As without stim, the Marines cannot chase down the roaches. But with them, the roaches, well, the stim is permanent damage until these medevacs come out, so. Oh, Contaminate on the factory. Serral, one of the only, if not the only player I see work Contaminate. One of those things that, why don't Zergs do this more? Simply because the level of preparation and kind of consciousness of your army and your units required is almost impossible to maintain. But Serral slows down a siege tank. Very important at this stage, as he's going for burrow move roaches. Gonna try to stim his way forward. Clem turns the table here. The roach count is not that high, and they don't have +1 armor. Now the Marines don't have +1. It's just Clem abusing the fact Marines have very slightly more range than roaches. Of course, a bit easier to get that attack off as well. Instant cast. Stutter stepping is what Marines are known for, not so much roaches. Serral now setting up for, well, looks like he's going to do burrow move roach drops. He's going to get him every which way inside the base. He's also got Zergling speed behind, indicating he's not committed to the roaches as the all-out strategy, but instead acknowledges that he might need to follow it up with something. Clem, army supply down, but that's to be expected against the mass roaches. Tunneling Claws is about to complete. Serral ideally will not show it until it's already too late, as it does give those oh my god, is he doing a sloach drop? He's doing a sloach drop. Okay, well, the Tunneling Claws roaches are making it into the natural. They're slowly working their way in towards the main. Unfortunately, that Overlord can't, like, put up its sails and glide faster. We gotta check the wind currents. Roaches at the natural. Roaches into the main. Roaches going for the front as well, mustering there. A small counterattack, a double drop. Small but dangerous. Burrow move roaches again. He's adding on some missile turrets in an attempt to move forward. Clem reorients a factory, and with a missile turret, he's able to detect them. Gunning down some of the roaches in the main. 6 SCVs so far. Corrosive Biovolley takes out some of the tank. Well, one of the tanks, not some of the tanks, as the other one is maintained. And Clem is caught slightly off guard by the burrow move roaches. Definitely more of a Dark-esque play here, but Serral not able to break through and do critical damage. Behind he's got the infestation pit. He's already got infestors on the way. 2-2 start. Serral with a few seconds of an edge, but not much else to work with. And he's not started a hive for Vipers. So, still looking to break through. Bunker taken out. Burrow move roaches will regenerate. They regenerate quicker underground. Okay. As is thematically appropriate. Hydraless Den and a hive, indicating lurkers. Double drop. Bounces back in towards the main. Takes out a queen. Hops back into the medevacs. The drop. Still looking. Just keeping that threat there. There's no reason not to. There's nothing that can take out the medevacs reliably right now. The queens are being cut down to size. Serral only has 3 of them. He has to continue building them as Clem is assassinating them on a regular basis. Classic Frenchman. And a massive doom drop into the main. 1, 2, 3, 7 medevacs of Terran ingenuity. And meanwhile, a single roach drop on the other side. But he could gut the entire tech tree, cut it off at the stump with a hail of stimmed bullets. And here come the roaches scrambling back. Serral realizes he doesn't have the numbers. Where are the infestors? The hive is gone. And Serral, in the face of such a reckless yet potentially effective drop, is completely out of position. This was such a risk for Clem. If he gets caught, if he loses a chunk of his army, well, then Serral can possibly run him over back at home, but the high risk is paid off with even higher reward. And now Serral has lost 23 drones. He's lost his hive. He's losing his upgrades. +2 attack is denied. He's not able to get the second Evo chamber in time, thankfully for Serral. Takes it out though anyways. Lurker Den is done. Hydra's just now popping out. There's still 40 roaches on the field. Well, Serral's not dead, but it's certainly not looking amazing, as the Hydraless Den will try to upgrade. Did Serral rebuild a lair somewhere? It looks like he did at the 3rd. Otherwise, he couldn't even get the Hydra upgrades. Lurker Den there, but the main base still a sore spot. The roaches showing their weakness here, unable to chase this down. Corrosive Bile. Clem almost laughing in his face as he dances those medevacs away. Serral, though, manages to survive with a significant supply, but he only has 49 drones, which is not enough to prosecute this game much further against a Terran player who is now fully operational on 4 bases, 3-3 on the way, and siege tanks in not small number. He's got 13 medevacs on the field, which might be a bit excessive, but Clem is certainly making use of them. And the lurkers will burrow, but siege tank's able to get into range. The medevacs into the main. And Serral, well, Clem sees 4 lurkers, and he sees an opportunity. Stims, targets, losing a lot of the Marines there. Maybe not as clean as he wanted to break out, especially considering he didn't even kill that last lurker. 4 more lurkers being built, roaches and ravagers into the natural. Well, the entire tech tree has been removed. There goes the lurker den, the Hydra den, but 4 more lurkers were finished, and Serral is actually managing to get some damage done. The engineering bays are vulnerable. Siege tank in the main and the 3rd. The one in the 3rd is going to be taken out. Most of the medevacs are here with the army without even enough units for each of them to heal. Roaches are clearing it up. Clem actually getting caught out, and Serral doesn't go down so easily. The medevac count. In fact, most of Clem's army seems to be medevacs at this point. He's got 14 medevacs, 28 out of 87 army supply. But where are the rest of the units? Coming back to join up with those medevacs, but Clem is down to 54 workers. Hive is being rebuilt. Micro's back, but 1 siege tank is enough for now. 3-3 will continue, and once that 3-3 completes, Clem is going to be very, very difficult to deal with, even more so than right now. He's got ghosts in production, sends out another double drop. Serral is on his last legs, but thankfully Zerg comes with so many of them. Well, almost no vision. The creep has been shut down, the Overlord's taken out, and it's not making it any easier. More Overlord's gonna go down. Serral didn't have that much supply, so he's not actually supply blocked. And he respread some of the creep into the main. Or maybe he left it from earlier, I'm not sure. The corrosive biles will land, but the attempt for another slow V drop into the main did not work out. Siege tanks left somewhat exposed. Lurkers, oh, but Serral accidentally burrowed his Ravagers. Oh no, a rare mistake. And I don't know how much it would matter, but Clem still struggling to actually deal with this biomass here. 3-3 is done, though. And the Marines are getting even tougher to deal with. Serral refuses to die. The Roach is really living up to their name here. But Clem, inevitable. These medevacs are... How many medevacs have even died? 1? And I think we just saw it. The Queen's gunned down. I don't even know what they're doing out here, Brenda. Well, that explains the 14 medevacs. Clem just doesn't lose them. Looks like he might. 1 more. But the fact that only 1 medevac has died really shows you how this game has gone. Clem with a pretty decisive victory in game 1. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't clean. But the momentum shifted heavily towards him, and he never let go of it. Game 1 goes to Team Liquid's Clem, the Serral Slayer so far, living up to his name. Serral did break out a completely different style. I've never seen, and by never I mean very rarely, especially recently, seen Serral go for both a Roach Rush and or Tunneling Claws. So I'm not entirely sure what the objective in that case was. Well, the objective was to win the game. I know that. But... Serral taking an awkward angle of it. And Clem just batted it down. It felt like he was excited to have the opportunity to actually micro against roaches. And honestly, even though roaches are a major threat quantity-wise, when you're a player like Clem, the key fact, which he used, abused, and exploited, is that roaches have no anti-air capabilities. And honestly, it's hard enough for them to scamper back to the main and help out against the drops. So the defining moment ends up being Clem's Doom Drop, just eviscerating the tech tree, and from there, hacking down any last writhing branches. Clem claims game 1. And in game 2, here on Dragon Scales, the Threeper. He's not going to add a third. Also, by the way, what was that build? That was a non-Threeper 3 Rex from Clem. I was so interested in Serral's build, I neglected to mention how Clem, well, neglected to mention earlier, how Clem was doing a 3 barracks marine push right off the bat. So you can clearly see this kind of micro Terran style, the Beyond-esque mass barracks. You know what your problem is? You didn't have enough marines. So, any problem can be solved with the liberal application of marines. In this case, Reapers and then marines, but command center on the high ground. Is he trying to fake out the OV, or is he actually suspicious? Oh my god, is it gonna work? Does he know Serral that well? Okay, the Overlord will spot the command center in the main. I thought Serral's Overlord pathing was so figured out that somehow Clem managed to evade it, but there's nothing to stop the Overlord from getting this info right now. So, speaking of getting info, the Reapers came in. Wait. Oh, he saw the command center. Wait, okay. I thought the Reapers saw the Roach Warren, and then Serral decided to cancel it as a mind game. But instead, the Roach Warren was a safety valve in case of mass Reaper, mass barracks. But then Serral saw the second command center, which indicates not so committed to a 1-base barracks play. Down goes a drone. Queens bounced around by the grenades. And another lair rush. Did he see that? He didn't see it. But the moment the Reapers are leaving, Serral opts for... He's doing a roach speed rush again. It's crazy to me. What does he know about Clem that we don't? It feels like Serral really wants to get something. This is... I'm not sure how to react here. And that's part of what that's most of what I do, is just react to the StarCraft gameplays. But it truly feels like Serral is just trying to get an edge on Clem and not allow him to get comfortably into the later game. Like, Serral is potential. Well, the Reaper's coming in to assassinate the Queen and get a full scout. Oh my god. He's not gonna get that drone, right? Almost. Get a full scout of the fact that there is no third. And he's just gonna come in again. I mean, the Reapers don't have a lot of shelf life here. God. Incessant Reaper pressure. And mass roaches out of Serral here. Now, this is kind of meeting the medevacs head on. It is very difficult to deal with the medevac drops with just Zerglings and Queens. But, at the same time, it does feel like it's playing somewhat into Clem's hand. Clem, who, by default, wants to be microing medevacs. A bunker, the only acknowledgement that roaches at some point could be a threat to his natural. Meanwhile, the Marines are headed out with the first 2 medevacs, already 3 CCs out of Clem. who's getting his engineering base at almost exactly the same time as Serral invests in his evolution chambers. Roach speed now done. But the first drop heads for the main. Serral has plenty of units out there. And it will be driven away for now. Burrow move roaches. It seems he has decided that the issue was not with the build, but with the execution. Very interesting. All right, it's Serral. I'm willing to allow it. Serral's up to 67 drones. A comfortable 3-base economy. Down goes another queen. Clem always waiting right at the edge of the creep there. God, so slick with the medevac micro. +1 ranged attack, +1 carapace for Serral. On the way, of course. The ranged attack, the important one here. Clear indicator. He doesn't even have Zergling speed or a Baneling now, so melee attack isn't really in the cards right now. Overlord speed this time around. That Overseer is out there somewhere. Waiting for its contaminate opportunity, I assume. But Clem's so on top of the creep and giving Serral so little time to react. Another queen taken out, hamstringing Serral's production yet again. 3 queens left. There's one of them. Which means that if there's 1 queen out on the field, there's not full injects on all the hatcheries. Which means Serral's production is significantly hampered. Oh my god, the roaches are waiting to get in. But they're spotted. Wait, oh, I guess... I don't know if he had burrow move and he got in that way, but Clem is adapting. There should be enough Marines to save the main here. He scans and deals with it, but the full assault is at the third. 2 siege tanks on the high ground, though. Make it difficult to close the distance. The roaches sharking around. In fact, the siege tank is blocking some of the mining here awkwardly. Oh, but the missile turret gives some detection into the main. And Serral's assault is getting picked apart and slammed to pieces by the siege tanks here. Yeah, just to, like, he may be able to deny the third. He did take out the tank on the low ground. He does still have a roach in the main. Had a roach in the main. But Serral, he's got infestors on the way. No hive yet. Not sure what he's waiting on here. For once, yeah. Take another look. For once. And yet again, it feels like Serral is kind of scrambling a bit after his attack just did very little. Even though Clem's down 20 supply, it's Roach Ravager up against Marine Tank. You're not expected to have more supply as the Terran. Being down 20, you're in good shape, especially if you're able to maintain your upgrades and have a decent SCV count. Serral's Overseer still has enough energy for a Contaminate, and the Doom Drop yet again. Clem heads towards the main. This time it's 4 medevacs, which should not be enough to outright win, but still very dangerous. Must be respected and forces Serral to bring most of his units back. There are still some burrow move roaches waiting for their opportunity. Clem just clearing up the creep. There are some infestors. Oh, and the fungal hits the center mass, but he loses the second infestor before he can cast the fungal. And that means most of the Marines are able to escape. The roaches heading in towards the main. They were able to break through, and now Clem has this to deal with. Loses one of the medevacs. Serral starting to split the defenders. Siege tanks sieging up. Meanwhile, the army on the field. Siege tanks on the high ground, though. Clem bleeding. But right now, mostly superficial damage. It's starting to add up, though. If he can drag him into siege tank range over the top, there's no hope for this Roach Ravager. He tries to scramble in with the burrow move. It's not enough. Clem still consolidating his forces. +2 attack. But he's never felt like he's lost that critical mass of siege tanks. The bro move roaches underneath, though. He doesn't have detection. He didn't notice. Here comes Serral from beneath. And the roaches pop up right on top of everything. Well, he only ends up getting 1, 2... Well, okay, he ends up clearing up the siege tanks, but at what cost? Meanwhile, the roaches are being dealt with in the main. Some more in the natural. He loses 19 SCVs. But overall, well, about even here. 5 siege tanks down. 44 roaches died. Clem killing 3 of his own marines with the siege tanks. But, roaches still being cleaned up in the natural. So annoying to deal with. Truly named correctly. And now we have lurkers with range on the way. Serral pops up, kills 2 tanks with the help of the other tanks. Oh, a scan gets a couple more roaches. It's starting to add up a bit here. Serral holds on the 4 bases. Clem still has 100 army supply, and he has not started his 3-3 upgrades. Oh, well, neither player started their 3-3 upgrades. 6 dropper lords here as Serral heads towards the doom drops for Zerg, but for lurkers into the production potentially. Overseer must have gotten contaminated at some point. A single widow mine out there. I don't even know if it was an accident, as he hasn't built any other mines this series. But dealt with by Serral, who's starting to add in some Zerglings, slowly working his way to the Hydraling Bane composition. But Serral's doom drop of lurkers. Well, the thing is, there's a single Viking to spot for this. He knows it's a threat, but will he be able to deal with it in time? That is the question. As Clem sends his units across the map, he's gonna spot the lurker drop. This is a huge deal. He splits it off. Clem scrambling back in towards the main. But his counterattack shut down for now. The lurkers wanting to burrow, but there's already a tank sieged. The lurkers pop out. Here comes a Viking. Where's the scan to deal with this? He's kind of trapped in his own base when it comes to dealing with this. Clem gonna lose a lot of supply, but he's gonna clean up these lurkers. And meanwhile, the drop on the other side. Oh my god, but Serral at the natural. He's cutting him to pieces, to shreds, I say. And Clem just cannot keep up with the damage on every side. Serral strikes back. Well, certainly a different experience this time around. Though still a bit of an awkward game where Clem just holding on, but never able to do well. He was never able to kill the hive and the entire tech tree. Okay, well that was a defining characteristic in game 1. And when Serral doesn't lose his entire basis of production, well, it gets a little easier to get that damage done. So, now we are all tied up, going in to game 3. Royal blood. I wonder. It's a different set. That what's crazy to me is we've seen Serral beat Maru multiple times without touching roaches, or even if he does, just a light pat on the back, as opposed to grabbing them and saying, "You are my unit." But here against Clem, he's chosen the Burmu roaches not once but twice. Will he make it thrice? And the second time, you see the clear trajectory of his build there. What he was in. Whoa, okay, Clem. Clem with 3 racks. I'm gonna say Reapers, as he already has 1 gas. Wouldn't be surprised to see a second. There we go. 3 racks Reapers. But in an interesting turn of events, he's proxying the 3rd Rex, which is quite a forward play. Well, as any good Terran falls back on, when things go sideways. Hit them with Reapers. All right, 3 on the way at a time. He's already set the tone, by the way, with the command center in the main. In that last game, he put his CC in the main, and now he has no CC at all, but Serral can't be as confident. He's not building a Roach Warren this time. I think because he's expecting, like, almost Pavlovian response here, where he's expecting the CC to be in the main. If we see a Roach Warren momentarily, that means Serral has realized, okay, wait a second, yeah, but that Roach Warren is later. Clem trained Serral with that command center last game, either unintentionally or just as a happy side effect or as an intent. But now Serral's roaches are going to be significantly later, and the Reaper count is going to grow dramatically by that point. Even by the point the roaches come out. These queens loses 1 Reaper. The micro isn't perfect here out of Clem. He loses 2, gets 1 queen in trade. Trying to keep those queens busy and keep their both energy and health down is key. Spilling royal blood on royal blood. Indeed here. The Roach Warren is done. The first 3 roaches on the way. The Reaper count, though. 5 of them. He pushes the queens back to their own ramp, almost killing 1. Another queen comes down, full HP. Zerglings coming out. Roaches are nearly done. But nearly done isn't good enough. Takes out 1 queen, gets a second, tries to bounce another. Still working on it. The roaches pop out. Clem only has 23 workers. He's getting a command center behind this. Serral's maintained a solid drone count. He sacrificed the queens in lieu of the workers. Grenades are perfect here out of Clem. If the roach count is too low, then the Reapers can bounce them around and knock them to the ground. As you cannot attack while up in the air there, and it's easy to isolate and kill singular roaches. Marauders on the way. Not even concussive shell for Clem. Just straight up Marauders. He gets it now. Wow, what a crazy play. I mean, it makes sense against the roaches, but going Reaper Marauder. Well, this entire series has been, like, ZVT has been an incredibly dynamic matchup lately. Oh my, there go the Reapers. And by that I mean they go just fine as they slip away. But again, like Serral with a much higher focus on roaches, whereas Clem breaking out some entirely new bio builds. Yes, building a barracks and getting Stim and Marines Marauders has not been a particularly unique build in the history of StarCraft 2, but this is something different. Mass Marauder, but there's enough Zerglings to muddy the waters here. And the Ravagers are looking to break through. Yeah, the bunker actually finishes. Surprisingly, Serral doesn't target it, and it's going to be a part of the defense. Clem, like, expected it to die, I think, which is why he didn't bother repairing. Serral really needs to get that bunker. Serral, what are you doing? Serral does not kill the bunker. It's so many opportunities. And if anything helps Clem keep this together, it's going to be the bunker. As it's going to draw a lot of attention, a lot of fire here. And it is that extra bit of HP he has to break through. He's using all the corrosive biles here, but the volley has already been expended. Here comes a Banshee! Desperately needed by Clem, and just in time here. The corrosive biles, a volley around. He's actually just going for the barracks with him. Trying to break through. 9 SCVs down. The Banshee's still going to work. No more Banshees in production. Still a pretty desperate scenario. Serral just throwing corrosive biles at the production here. He's breaking all the way through. And Clem is running out of SCVs. 17 down. I mean, I guess Serral doesn't have that much behind it. He gets another lair. Trying to chase down the Marauders and things. Well, more Zerglings. Without speed, I might add, breaking through. But slow legs. I can't believe we're watching slow legs trickle into the natural. Oh, Well, this attack is certainly thinning out. Was it supposed to have Zergling speed? Because if it did, maybe critical damage would have been dealt. But actually, Clem has an equal worker count. He's at 28 to 28, and in fact, he's about to get back to the lead. So, Serral without Zergling speed here. Tries for the deadly counter-aggression, but a single Banshee. It racks up 17 kills on defense. The centerpiece of it, completely unchallenged. And now Serral, I don't blame him, feels kind of forced into a Nidus. And that may very well be the ticket for a follow-up attack, though I'm still very concerned at the lack of Zergling speed here. No road speed, no Zergling speed, but Clem doesn't. I wonder if Clem will think about it. As, why is Serral playing so passive now? You can't have a great economy after all this. The Nidus is done. It's placed in the main. Clem's looking. Clem's looking. He's thinking about it. Oh, and he finds it. Oh, that's massive. Yeah. Finding it at this stage. Oh, but pop it out. It's already too late. I mean, he's able to rearrange his defenses. There's going to be a second siege tank. The Banshee's heading back. Where are the Queens? They finally pop out. Corrosive Bile onto the tank. Knocks it out. And the roaches are breaking through. Well, the SCVs are fighting the Queens. Another slaughter of the SCVs here. The Queens might be enough. The Ravager's doing a lot of damage. The third command center hasn't been canceled yet, but Clem barely has any units left. That Banshee's still intact. Incredibly important. 23 kills and counting. The two Queens are the only anti-air here. The Banshee is everything. If he loses the Banshee, then Serral can just keep rallying units out of the Nidus. But down goes one of the Queens instead. That Banshee! Oh, no, but he doesn't kill it! The Widowmine will be taken out, but the Banshee is unchallenged, and Clem will hold. The Banshee with 24 kills. And, it looks like he's just gonna stick around for a while, patrol it in the edge of the main, making sure. Well, he did a lot more damage there. He killed a lot more SCVs. Serral hasn't built a drone in like 5 minutes. He's now, oh, this is a bit awkward. The medevac is just scouting. There is stim and concussive shells here. He's using creep drop in order to get something resembling a speed upgrade. I guess it counts. The Banshee's still, but there's nothing to counter the Banshee. Gotta bring the Queens out, trying to bring the creep forward. A Queen comes out, the Banshee, why haven't you repaired it, Clem? Alright, that kind of plot armor we don't know how to repair. Are you, this man, just repair the Banshee, Clem. What are you doing? I don't know, what is he doing? Why are you like this? It's like, no, it helps me micro, living life on the edge. Oh my god, repair the damn Banshee, it's a war hero. Living life on the edge is the only way to make me feel truly alive. That's probably an underlying issue, Clem. You should get that checked out. Here come the Queens. Banshee has been repaired. The Ravagers still a very dangerous option here. The Banshee's still adding damage. The Queens! Not again! And Clem on that point! The Banshee! The centerpiece! How many kills? How many kills? At the end here. 26, 27. And I would love to see like a damage count for that Banshee as well. But a brave Banshee. And Clem holds the line as Serral just cannot seem to stabilize in any of these games. It almost feels like Clem has a mental block on him, where Clem's style just keeps Serral from ever getting into his comfort zone. Because Serral is, as we've seen, time and time and time again. Effectively unbeatable when he gets to that mid-game, that mechanical aspect of the game that no one can match. The one that's the source of a bunch of YouTube balance experts leaving very, very nuanced and meaningful comments. But here we are. Match point for Clem. No, this isn't what I expected. I expected some crazy aggression, but every game, definitely not. Well, here we go, though. Looks like for once, Clem will limit himself to 1 barracks. SCV scouts that the hatch is on time. Nothing to particularly worry about. It looks like we're going to have a more typical opener. Typical in the sense of almost every other match. That isn't this one so far. The drone goes out, and Clem is even looking to block the 3rd. God, he's going to block. Oh my god, there's nowhere to run! He's trying to... Oh my god. Wow. What a excruciating moment. As Clem blocks the ability to use the extractor to hide the drone. What a thorough mental and physical victory. Clem has Serral's number. And that's a hard one to get. Well, what will we see? We see Zergling speed from Serral. For the first time, it's so weird that Zergling speed is such a rare upgrade in this series here. Oh, the Zerglings didn't even notice till they got shot at. On hold position there, trying to block the Reaper, but Clem managed to avoid it. And of course, it's going to be barracks behind. Stim already on the way. Queens poking and prodding at the Hellions. The Reaper. And Overlord actually wanders all the way in, sees effectively everything. Knows that this is a 3-2-on-1, it looks like. You've got 3 command centers, 2 barracks, a factory, and a starport. Double medevac is on the way now. Stim very close behind it. Double engineering bay and a quick lair yet again, but not as quick. Not a roach speed or burrow move lair, but instead there's the baneling nest. Baneling speed. The more conventional choice against the Marines. Serral trying to bring us back to reality here. We'll see how Clem deals with it. I have to assume he has a response to this. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that Serral's burrow move roaches were meant to circumvent what Clem would usually do to deal with the Ling Bane. To try to catch you out of position and essentially keep the Terran busy so they can't put the pressure on until you get to Hive Tech. Whereas you don't really have that option when you go for the Ling Bane. Against a well-prepared Terran, you have to meet that army head-on, which allows a lot of leeway for the Marines to micro. And we'll see what Clem does with that leeway. Yeah, Tosalope scrambling back and forth trying to deal with this. Marines looking for an angle, but there's a lot of energy on the Queens here. Angry about, well, this series in general. A lot of Queens have been assassinated by the Frenchmen. Baneling speed on the way. 1-1 for Clem. Going to be about 30-45 seconds quicker than Serral's. Yeah, Marines trying to scramble in. And the Queens are a bit out of position here. Should be able to get a decent trade. He's got to know the Queens are coming. Not going to kill the 4th base here. Takes some damage on the medevac. Banelings. Serral's got a nice amount of drops. 69 of them right now. As he's sitting on 4 bases. Clem seemingly unable to do much about it. And Serral? Where was this Serral in the other 3 games? Looking very good right now. I mean, he still is going to have to deal with this push. As 1-1 is on the way. Baneling speed is done, though, most importantly. Those 1-1 upgrades are pretty far off, so there will be a window here for Clem to do pretty solid damage with the Ling Bane. Oh, against the Ling Bane, rather. With the Marine tank. She's jammed into a relatively nasty position there. Ling Bane setting up for a surround to the north. There's no way Serral's going to be able to wait until his own upgrades. He's going to have to fight this with the deficit. He's waiting. 1-1 now done for Clem, the 4th base. Here comes the flank. Looking for the full wraparound. Picks up and gets out. Baneling's on the run from the siege tanks, but Serral's able to crush it just in time. I think he was trying to wait until the first couple of upgrades, but he has to save the base. He's taking another hatchery to the south. More Banelings finishing. Clem's supply, though. Look at the supply. He's sitting at 153 to just 140 for Serral, who's struggling to put enough units on the field. And with an upgrade deficit, which won't manifest itself for another minute or 2, it's going to be very hard to fight this head-on. Ideally here, as Serral, you get some sort of counterattack. You get something done on the other side, so that way Clem can't focus all his attention and all his efforts. Another thing the Roach compositions do is kind of negate the effectiveness of Widow Mines, which always have a ton of potential against the Ling Bane. He actually diffuses that with a Zergling there. He missed. Actually, how many kills? 18 kills. I'm sorry, just one more time. Always love these. Whoa! Blunts the attack pretty heavily. And forces him back. Overlord speed. Finishing up. Hive nearly done. 38 more Zerglings. Serral still scrambling. And this... Now I'm starting to see why Serral wanted that Roach Burrow move composition. As in an even money game, no damage done really to either side. Clem has him bottled up, chasing down medevacs and dealing with these pushes. And where is the counterattack potential? There is no Lurker Den. There's no Ultralisk Cavern. Clem is still, like he's working towards 2-2. He has the upgrade advantage. Are there any Vipers out? There's 140 Zerglings. But the Widow Mine's taking out a healthy chunk of them. Clem still keeping Serral busy. He's pushed the creep back to both 4th bases, which clearly Serral has been trying to defend here. Lings and Banes overrun the attack on the right flank. 2-2 is about to finish alongside vehicle plating for those medevacs, liberators, and most importantly, Widow Mines, making it that much harder to dislodge them. Serral adding on the Hydra Den now. But another mine drop coming in. Diffused for now. Does he have drilling claws? Indeed he does. Serral will deal with it, but another mine drop. Find some kills. And another one. And we'll hit the queen. That one will be diffused as well. But another one. This one dealt with, but he picks it back up. And so far, this is just Clem. This is Clem. Like, look over here, over here, over here, over here. And Serral has done nothing. He hasn't killed a single SCV. Now he's only lost 4 drones, but the attacks have all been on Serral's side of the map. Widow Mines will burrow, actually taken out by the Banelings for the most part. He's got a few in the back line. The Viper throws out a parasitic bomb onto the medevacs. That combined with the Widow Mine does a whole lot of damage, but it doesn't quite take them out yet. Hydras, Lings, and Banes trying to deal with the mine. Clem unburrows it. And now, finally, something resembling a counterattack here. Widow Mine burrows, forces him back. Clem rotates around to defend. And now the Ling Bane trying to come in, but caught between a bit of a rock and a hard place. This pillar here, making it difficult for Serral to find an angle. If Clem loses one of these armies, Serral can take the momentum back and just continue lay on the attacks. Oh, but the Marines take out the only Viper. Parasitic bomb quarantines the medevac. Marines working their way back, picks them up at the last second. And Clem streams over to the left just as Serral pushes back on the right. Serral scrambles to defend. Another Widow Mine connects onto the Queen. Liberator just floating on by. Another mine. 2 more mines. Continues burrowing them. And Clem not giving any space here. The Queens have to deal with the Liberator. The creep is pushed all the way back. But Clem matching Serral. And honestly, starting to make even more progress. There are Hydras on the way. No Lurker Den in sight. Clem has 5 bases now. He's got plenty of economy. Feels like Serral is trying to scramble and defend at every turn. More Widow Mines, taking out some of the medevacs. And another mine looking for damage. Some of the Marauders hung out to dry here. Clem with a sloppy fight. Seconds before 3-3 finishes. Serral gained some ground with the first Vipers. But without creep, it is hard to press that issue. The Lurker Den on the way. Vendiah scan spots where those Vipers are and the fact that they aren't ready to cast any of their spells yet. Meanwhile, Ling Bane. Hydra Ling Bane. The Marauders not so good against the Hydras, but upgrades are quite important here. Yanks in the Liberator. Widow Mine, though, takes out another chunk. The Liberator not able to be part of the army, but the Widow Mine's still helping out dramatically. As Clem never offering a large enough target for the army to collapse on. He's always got 20, 30, 40 supply on the other side of the map. So even if Serral broke one of these armies with some great Viper control and a healthy application of Hydra Ling Bane, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be in position to execute a meaningful counterattack. Widow Mines, big connections. Serral drops 15 supply. Another mine. Lurkers on the way. Still looking for more. Takes out some of the Banes. Badly bruised Viper. Really needs to try to heal that up. Clem has taken another base behind this. The tempo advantage continues to go to the Frenchman. As Serral just cannot keep up. The thing is, at the end of the day, Serral survived though. He has all these bases. He has 90 drones. It feels like Clem has the momentum, but Serral keeps building up a stronger and stronger army, making it harder and harder. The parasitic bomb quarantines the medevac, but ghosts are on the field. Widow Mine's burrow, get some shots off. Another set, but gotta save those ghosts. Very important. Another shot. Meanwhile, this is Clem just never offering a target. Every single time, it looks like Serral's able to pin down part of the army. Another small army forces him back. But Clem, at some point, he's going to have lurkers to reckon with. Well, I don't know what happened to the other lurkers. It appears he's already reckoned with some of them. A couple lurkers have gone down. More mines. Dealt with. And finally, Serral strikes back. Killing his first SCVs, it looks like, for the most part. The creeps, really you can tell how a Zerg versus Terran, especially in the late game, is going by the creep. If the creep is past the bases to the halfway mark and beyond, the Zerg has so much momentum. The Terran won bad fight from defeat. But Serral is barely able to get the creep outside his hatcheries. It's been taken out. The queen count is at 4, which is not even remotely close to the number of hatcheries he has, though Clem is helping to bring that more even. Zergling counter, but Widow Mines will blunt the force of it. Another set, looking for more. Widow Mine triggers also on top of it. Viper taken out by the missile turret. High-sec auto-tracking done. But Serral unable to close the distance here. Liberator showing up. Clem did lose one planetary, but Serral is forced back to his 4th base. The overlapping Liberators has to rebuild some Overlords here, as he's lost so many with Overseers. Snipes on the Queens. Getting Burrow now for Infestors. Widow Mines. Ghost caught out. A single Lurker, as Clem now the one who has to play some defense. Ghost getting stuck in the middle of everything. Serral starting to build a bank here. Clem has kept him very busy. But Serral has held. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been particularly clean, but Serral has held the line. Well, there's still a few units burrowed beneath or flying above it. But Clem is still maxed out. Serral actually supply blocked because he's lost so many Overseers that he has not been able to remax out. The Hydras, the Lings, the Banelings coming in. Yanks out some of the Liberators. The Hydras struggling to deal with them, though. And Serral is driven back once again. Finally loses that 4th base. A point of contention for so long. The creep spread. He's starting to reestablish it somewhat, but he can't really afford to bring the queens off the line. Clem annexing another hatchery. Liberator gonna try something. More Liberators showing up. Oh, does he have advanced ballistics? Indeed he does. A beautiful fungal, but Clem able to get out just in time. Deals with the Infestors. And now the Liberators. Well, forced to reposition here. 10 drones down. The Ghost in a bit of an awkward spot. Do they have Cloak? They do. And then we've seen how those Overseers. How many has he lost? Only 6 of them. So not overbuilding at all. Maybe underbuilding. Ah, beautiful Zergling burrowed there. Command center can't find a place to land. Liberation is at hand, though. The Venn diagram of freedom. Viva la liberty! And now, well, Clem has actually turned the bank around. As Serral was starting to bank up at 200 supply, but he hasn't been able to find those fights again. Clem took one mediocre one on the field and has not offered up another target of that magnitude. Snipes on Banelings. The Hydras closing in. The Liberators will be taken out. The Ghost in a bit of an awkward position, but he picks him up and gets him out. The command center creating a bit of a choke point there. And Serral down to 180 supply. This war of attrition. Serral's lost 15,000 more minerals. 2,000 more gas. The Vipers. Clem is bringing in most of his army here. EMP on the Vipers. And the planetary fortress is complete before the Zerglings arrived. And that means Clem able to fall back, and Serral taps out. Clem, 3-1. At no point in that game, that full-on macro slog, at no point, 58 Widow Mines died, but 820 Zerglings joined him. And that, I think, might explain that Roach Burrow move strategy that Serral was relying on. As Clem, when he's got his foot on the gas, well, you just gotta jump out of the way. A beautiful series out of Clem. The Serral Slayer yet again. And now, doubles the amount of series that Serral has lost in Zerg versus Terran this year. Both to Clem. He just has his number. Just play like Clem. I don't know. What do you think? Very impressive by Clem, but also very weird for me to see Serral clearly kind of scrambling for strategies to deal with this Terran player. This should make the comments interesting at the very least. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you to World Team League and Master Coliseum. If you guys got the means and motivation, make sure to check them out. And also Patreon. Or, of course, just like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.